The PCX has undergone significant changes and is now more powerful, but can it beat the NMAX? Watch until the end and I'll answer that for you. If you're new here, I'm Amanda Pagliari and this is the Motoplay channel. And in this video, you'll find out everything about the new Honda PCX 160 2023 model, such as technical features, fuel consumption, insurance cost, and its performance in the city and on the highway. And of course, my honest opinion with both the pros and cons. Besides the engine, the new PCX has received significant changes. So this video doesn't get too long. I'll leave the link here in the description and also in the card to a detailed video I made. Point by point, all the changes from the previous 150 version to this 160. So after watching this video, go check out the detailed changes. In this video, I'll focus more on my impressions and of course the pros and cons and who is the PCX for. Well, this is an urban vehicle. In my opinion, it's obviously meant for someone who will be riding in the city, in heavy traffic, in a quick and agile way. It's also meant for beginners. So if you've just gotten your driver's license, you can start with the PCX without any difficulty. It's also recommended for someone who has a bigger motorcycle for traveling or even a car in the garage and is looking for a light, agile, and inexpensive vehicle to get around the city easily, since this scooter here is very economical. I'll talk to you about that in a moment. So to deal with heavy traffic, it's a great option. Can you take a passenger? Yes, you can. It's meant for urban use, so you'll be fine in the city. There's even a retractable foot peg here for the passenger. It looks really nice when it's closed. Also, once you're on the road, its performance will drop with a passenger, okay? So think carefully if you're going to take a passenger on the highway. That's not even its purpose, but I'll discuss that shortly. Alright guys, now in 2023, we have 3 versions of the PCX, the combined braking system version with combined brakes. We have the ABS version and we have the deluxe version, which is this one here. What is the deluxe version? It's a special version, deluxe, okay? At the end of the video, I'll talk about the price of each version and also the differences. So watch until the end. In this video, I'm going to focus on the deluxe version. After all, this is the scooter that Honda made available for us to test. Starting with the design, it's very beautiful and different from the PCX. The main difference is clear. This rear part here, this integrated passenger handle, is very harmonious and in sync with the lines of the scooter. So this part really turned out very beautiful. This little cover here can be removed to install a top case support. Very useful in the city. We also have here her traditional signature. Beautiful, with LED. So all the lights on the PCX are LED. In fact, the taillight has a very beautiful design in my opinion. And it comes with a smart key, right? The famous proximity sensor. In other words, you don't need to put the key in the ignition. You just need this small key with the proximity sensor and it will be recognized. And a question that a lot of people have is this. Oh, let's say I parked at a bakery over there. I'm close to the scooter, so could a thief come and take it? They could if you don't turn it off, right? You have the option to disable the proximity function, right? For example, I'm here with the key nearby, but I can't turn it. Then I enabled it. Just press here and I can already have this function enabled. This is very useful because it gives us motorcyclists more security. And here's the thing, only those who have already ridden with a smart know how easy this tool is. You don't need to have the key in your backpack sometimes. When you get close, the scooter turns on, which means it's with you. You don't need to keep looking for or hunting for the key to start the scooter and answering you here. Vinicius, well, if you lose the key, or if, for example, the battery runs out here, there is a way to start it. It even comes with a little key. I'm not going to teach that in this video, right? Only the owner needs that information, so the dealership will explain it to you. There's a code you can use to start the scooter. Another thing, you get 2 of these keys, 2 smart keys, and also a code, Amandinha's tip, for the love of God. Just for this tip, you should already send it. For PCX owners or owners of other vehicles with smart key, always keep the spare key and the code separate. Why? Because if you don't have either the key or the code, you'll have to replace the entire module. because it's like a secret. So let me just explain a quick summary here. When you lose one and need to make another, if you already have the spare, the dealership will copy that code and give you another key, so the cost will be low. Now, if you don't have the code, you don't have the key. They have no way of knowing that code. You'll need to replace everything, which gets expensive. So here's a tip from Amandinha. Always keep the code you'll receive with your PCX and the spare key well separated, so you don't have any problems. One cool thing is that for 2023, the PCX comes with a factory alarm. That's right, it already comes with an alarm from the factory, and the cool thing is that it's a smart alarm. So for example, it understands if it's been parked in the garage for a long time, it won't activate the alarm. Now it knows if you, for example, stopped at college or at work, and then it activates the alarm. And since it's already, let's say, a factory alarm, you won't have that problem of it draining the battery incorrectly, because this system is already part of the engineering of the scooter's design. So it's definitely a smarter alarm. There are 3 levels, both of sensitivity if someone tampers with it, and also 3 levels of noise. Here's an example. The alarm is already on. Look. See? There you go. This is helpful since there are no extra costs. You can get insurance and also have an alarm. That will prevent, or at least make it harder for thieves, for criminals to steal your scooter. And to start the scooter, we come here and turn the button. I stopped at State Full. And to open the fuel tank compartment, you just come here and press fuel and the door opens. And it has a capacity for 8 liters of gasoline. And to answer you here, a 10-liter tank? Well, I don't think so. Because it has great range, it goes over 200 kilometers on one tank. So I don't think it's necessary. And to open the space under the seat, you just come here and press the seat button and it opens. And here, guys, you can fit a lot of things. I put my open face helmet, jacket, and also gloves. You can also fit a full face helmet because I've already tested it. And here on the left side, we have a small storage compartment. It fits a cell phone. So this one, my cell phone, fits without any problems, okay? Remember, it's a storage compartment without a lock or key, so be careful not to forget anything you leave here. Here we have a USB port. You don't need an adapter. And the handlebar of the PCX is fixed. In other words, you turn it and the front stays the same, right? Like other scooters, the PCX handlebar is notably exposed. It's not built into the fairing as it is with the SH150 or NMAX 160. And one advantage is that you can attach the global positioning system since it's much safer on the handlebar than, for example, putting it here at the base of the mirror. All right, guys, it has 76.4 centimeters from the seat to the ground. It's on the center stand. I'll get on so you can see. I'm 1.77 meters tall and I can put both feet on the ground without any difficulty. You stay here with your legs at a 90-degree angle. There's this small base here where you could stretch your feet, but I find it very uncomfortable. I think it's more for aesthetics, decoration than actually functional for you to put your feet on, okay? If you were further back, that's not the case. You can put your feet down. The fuel tank is in this tunnel. It doesn't have that flat floor for you to put your belongings here between your legs. Regarding the riding position, it's very comfortable. I can have a good angle for my arms here. So it's really good for riding in the city. In short, guys, it's a light scooter, easy to ride. Regarding the weight, it has 126 kilos of dry weight. That is, not counting the fluids and the fuel tank that I mentioned to you. The PCX 160 has traction control. So the engine control unit, which is the brain, the electronics of the scooter, checks the rotation of the rear wheel, sends the information, and activates the control. You can turn it off. It's not recommended, right, for your safety. However, every time you start the scooter again, the traction control will turn on automatically. And it has alloy wheels, 14 inches in the front and 13 in the back. And the PCX comes equipped with a single-cylinder engine with 156.9 cubic centimeters and liquid cooling, which generates 16 horsepower at 8,500 revolutions per minute and 1.5 kilogram force meter at 6,500 revolutions per minute. And the PCX is an automatic scooter with continuously variable transmission. That means you don't need to shift gears. Basically, you just accelerate and brake. And here on the right lever is the front brake. And on the left lever, where the clutch would be on a traditional motorcycle, is the rear brake. And it comes, guys, in this deluxe version with disc brakes on both wheels, with the diameter of the disc on both wheels being 220 millimeters. And this version comes with an anti-lock braking system, ABS, only on the front wheel. And answering you here, Alexandra Izuki, no. The combined braking system version of the PCX comes with combined brakes, okay? Now, the deluxe version, which is this one here, as well as the ABS version, comes with ABS only on the front wheel. If you don't know the difference between combined braking system and ABS, I made a nice video quickly explaining it for you. I'll leave the link in the description and also in the card so you can decide, okay? To have the power to choose the information and make the best purchase decision. Regarding the suspension, in the front we have a telescopic fork with 100 millimeters of travel, and in the rear 2 springs without adjustment, okay? Also with 100 millimeters of travel. Now, the position of the spring is a little different compared to the 150 version, okay? And it still has 2 levels of spring stages, so it has a spring more towards the end, right? At the base, it's a little stiffer to avoid bottoming out. And the rest of the spring has that softer tension to provide cushioning. And everyone is curious to know if the suspension has improved or not. Look at how many questions I received. Well, guys, the suspension has improved, okay? It used to be worse, right? Anyone with the first PCX models knows the suspension would constantly bottom out. Scooter suspension doesn't work miracles, but it used to be much worse. I think Honda has gradually improved the PCX suspension. But soon I'll talk about the pros and cons and give my honest opinion about this suspension. And the dashboard is 100% digital. It's a liquid crystal display blackout screen. So it has a dark background and the letters are white, right? Bright. Highlighting and giving good visibility. Here we have mainly the speedometer clearly displayed. Up here, the clock. This oil change is indicating that you need to do the maintenance, right? So it already gives you this information. If you forget, the PCX will remind you. Here we have the fuel gauge. It's already almost empty. Here we have the trip odometer, total odometer, and onboard computer information. So here we have the fuel consumption showing an average of 28 kilometers per liter. It has already run 1,265 kilometers. Then we switch the information directly on the dashboard, and here we have the trip one, right? That's it. Here we have the traction control information, which is the Honda selectable torque control, and that's all. So we have the partial trip of 192 kilometers and the total trip, right? Which would be the odometer. And here with this button, you can set it up and reset the information on the dashboard. And here on the side, we have 2 little screens that work not only for the turn signals, right? Here I turned on the hazard lights. Look how nice it looks. So when you turn on, for example, the left or right turn signal, it shows up on the dashboard. We also have some warning lights like, for example, the high beam indicator. There's the service light, traction control, and ABS here. And this little A that shows up here on the panel means you've activated the idling stop. And what is this idling stop, right? Or start stop? It's a system that activates when you stop at a traffic light for a few seconds. The scooter turns off, bringing more fuel savings, less pollution, and not just carbon dioxide pollution, but also noise pollution. And then to reactivate the scooter, you just need to twist the throttle and it will start automatically. So this system is the start stop, right? Or idling stop from Honda. And down here we have the hazard light button, and here the scooter's ignition. And here on the left side, we have the button to activate the high beam. There's the flasher, here's the horn, and here the turn signal for right and left. Now that I've already introduced you to the new PCX 160, it's time to ride it around the city and on the road. End the video by covering its pros and cons. But before that, if you're already enjoying the information in this video and the production, how about leaving a like, huh? You motivate me to make more videos like this. Leave a like now. Yes, come along with me. In heavy traffic, getting through with the PCX is great, guys. The agility of this scooter is incredible. That's it. nimble, smart bike. Really, for those who want to escape traffic, PCX is really good. It goes right through the lane. Well, Junior, to answer you about the engine, so it's quicker off the line, as you can see. The torque and power curve has improved compared to the 150 engine. So it's definitely quicker now, Lucas. Regarding the dashboard, I think it has good visibility, right? For me, the angle it's at is great. And then they asked me, right? Milka asked me if water gets in. Actually, look, it's about to rain and I hope I don't have to test it. If water gets into the PCX dashboard, do you have a PCX 160? Write down here if water gets in or not. About the suspension, look, patched up street. Wow, it bounces a little in the back. So it does bring some discomfort. Yes, the front holds up. Okay, but there's nothing you can do about the back. If you hit a really big pothole, it's going to bottom out. There's nothing you can do. Okay? So look, avoid, oh my God, avoid potholes. Okay? Avoid potholes. Unfortunately, we don't have smooth streets or asphalt, right? I believe that's the kind of place the PCX was designed for, right? Because of these little wheels here and the suspension, but that's what we have for now. So smooth asphalt, okay? Potholes, avoid them. Lots of potholes and patched up streets, you'll just have to get through them, right? That's certain discomfort, okay? But that's it, guys. Great scooter for riding in the city. Now let's ride it on the road. Will it do well? I'm here on the road. Will we reach the top speed with the PCX? Right away, a little uphill. The PCX is just going, poor thing. Here, 115, 116. Oh, wow. I'm almost getting a hallway here, huh? Oh my God, I got out of the, oh wow, an accident. Leaving the city and there's already traffic on the road. Oh my God, only God can help. Well guys, here on the road, that's not her intention, right? But the PCX just goes and goes. It's on the uphill, 110, 109. And that's without a passenger, okay? I didn't bring a passenger for the test. So, this is the speed she's going with me, okay? But we know, right, that if you have a passenger, the performance drops, right? It'll get heavier. That's it. For those who have doubts, look at this. The lighting power of the PCX. Look. There, that sign in front. Look. See? Man, look at this. Hang, big lighthouse, right? Beautiful people, I'm not mistaken. Besides being handsome, it lights up really well. Big lighthouse. Look, it lights up beautifully. Look at the toll sign. Wow. Oh my guys, the PCX's headlight is really good. Look at this. See? I liked it, huh? I liked it. And Sergio sent me a question here about the insurance. By the way, all the questions I'm answering in this video were sent to me on my Instagram. So if you don't follow me yet, go there, amanda.pagliari, link in the description or just like it's shown here on the screen. I always post photos, tips, news, and behind the scenes, and you get to know everything firsthand. And who knows, maybe the next question to be answered here on the Motoplay channel will be yours, right? Follow me there. But while getting back to insurance, we know that insurance depends a lot on the person's profile, like, for example, age, zip code, and where you live. Fuel consumption also depends on riding style. This version here is currently at 0, right? Just over 1,000 kilometers. The engine isn't broken in yet, so it's not performing at its best. So it will consume a little more, yes, at this moment. The dashboard showed it averaged nearly 30 kilometers per liter, around 29, right? But it varies. During the test, I drove both in the city and on the highway. If you only drive in the city, your fuel economy will be better. On the highway, though, here's the thing. I really stepped on it, so I ended up demanding a bit more from the engine. That's why it had that fuel consumption, but I want to know from you, do you have a PCX 160? Write down the fuel consumption you get with it in the comments to help other riders. But overall, it is economical, yes. Honda gave us some numbers during the test here. According to the MAWA Institute, it averages 37 kilometers per liter. All right? If you drive calmly, it can reach up to 44 kilometers per liter. I want to know if any subscribers here have matched this fuel consumption average for the PCX. Write it in the comments. I couldn't do it. I got around 30, more or less. Like I said, it's still breaking in. I'll now discuss the PCX pros and cons. Remember, Mandinha doesn't have all the answers. You have every right to agree, disagree, or even add to it as long as it's done respectfully using the comments. But first, you need to be subscribed to this beautiful, wonderful, and most charming channel in Brazil, Motoplay channel. So go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe now. And now let's get started with the positive points. The first one, savings. With gas prices so high, the PCX is a great choice. It seems like they may never go down again. So I think it does really well. The factory alarm is another positive point, since at least it makes it harder for thieves to steal your scooter. You don't pay extra, it's included from the factory, which is a plus. Design is another thing I really like about the PCX. A lot of people actually choose the PCX because of its design. It draws attention wherever it goes. This deluxe version looks great. Not everyone may like it, but Honda aimed for something more exclusive. I didn't mention this earlier in the video. But with these colors here, they were inspired by more sophisticated colors, right? Like those on yachts. They showed a sketch, a color scheme. It's not for everyone, but the PCX's design is beautiful and eye-catching. Oh, that's why it's a positive point. And the cycling is another positive point of this scooter. It fulfills its purpose, which is to ride in the city, in heavy traffic, without any difficulties. Ease of riding is another positive point, right? Because it covers not only beginners who are riding for the first time, just got their driver's license, but also those who don't want to have too much difficulty. It's an automatic scooter. Just accelerate and brake, no hassle, leave the car in the garage. Do you want to commute to work by scooter? To get there faster, it's very easy to ride this scooter. That's a plus, and the space under the seat is another benefit. A full-face helmet fits. You can also put a jacket in there or a raincoat. Adding the small trunk to your PCX makes it the perfect combo, letting you carry plenty. That's a positive. The idling stop system or start-stop is a plus. By the way, the PCX was the first two-wheeled vehicle to introduce this technology in Brazil, so that's really good. It saves fuel and pollutes less. I like using it and have already tested it. I also have an SH150 with this system. And guys, it really works. It becomes more economical when you leave the button on. Traction control is another positive point, since it brings more safety for us motorcyclists. And the smart key is another positive point. Only people who've used a motorcycle or scooter with this technology know how good it is. Another plus is the lighting system with turn signals integrated into the headlight. Looks great. Besides giving it a unique, distinctive look, the PCX's signature lighting also brings more safety for us motorcyclists, since it lights up very well, especially at night. So did I miss any positive points about the PCX? Share your thoughts in the comments. Now let's discuss a controversial topic, the negative points. The smart key system is excellent. However, here Honda didn't include a sensor that warns you when you don't turn the selector to completely switch off the scooter. Why am I saying this? Because I have a scooter with this smart key technology and I've already forgotten to do it. Because you don't have to turn the key and take it with you, I've already forgotten to leave the button on. So what happens then? It's going to drain the darn battery. That's a downside because the competition, for example, the NMAX 160 has it. When you leave it out of the correct position, after a few seconds it starts beeping to remind you that you need to turn off the scooter. In other words, you won't have a dead battery. I think this technology is missing from the PCX 160, but maybe it will be added in the future. Another negative point, in my opinion, is the suspension, especially the rear one. It has improved a lot. We need to say that. Yes, Honda is making an effort to improve the PCX suspension more and more. However, it's not a miracle. So if you're someone who already has a back problem, if you're someone who is more sensitive, I suggest skipping scooters and instead choosing a trail motorcycle for better shock absorption. When it comes to potholes and suspension, there's no way to put a longer suspension travel on a scooter since it has small wheels. Honda even reduced the rear wheel to a 13-inch rim, but even so, a 100mm travel is not much for a scooter. Besides, on a motorcycle, your legs also help with the shock absorption. On a scooter, sitting sends the impact directly to your back. It improved, but suspension remains a weak point for scooters. And another thing, in the case of the PCX, it has 14-inch wheels, guys. This little wheel here, 14 in the front, 13 in the back, right? It's really just for you to ride on asphalt. Smooth asphalt, European standard. It's hard to find good asphalt in Brazil, only in some neighborhoods, and even then, barely. But in my opinion, that's a negative point compared to the PCX, and that's what made me choose another scooter with bigger wheels in the past. So maybe this is something you should pay attention to. And another thing here, Alan, ABS on the front helps a lot. It's better than nothing. However, in my opinion, it's a downside that the PCX doesn't come with ABS on both wheels, which would provide more safety. After all, we're not talking about a cheaper 160, right? It's a vehicle with added value, technology, and design. So in my opinion, if the competitor has it, Honda could add it too. It ends up being a negative point that the PCX only has ABS on the front wheel. Speaking of brakes, wow. This isn't a negative point for the deluxe version since it comes with disc brakes on both wheels. But the entry-level version, the combined braking system version, which by the way looks really nice in black, comes with a drum brake in the rear. Oh my God, Honda, in 2023, you put a drum brake on the PCX. All right, you didn't want to spend on the ABS sensor in the front, but at least give me 2 disc brakes, right? It frustrates me so much because I dislike drum brakes. I've had a scooter with them before. People always ask, Amanda, does it run? Guys, it's 16 horsepower. The scooter runs well. Some people even ride it on the highway. It needs to have a decent brake. We know that the front brake is what actually stops the vehicle, in this case, the scooter. However, in my opinion, a downside of the combined braking system version is that it comes with a drum brake in the rear. That's not good, Honda. Another important detail, if you're looking for a scooter to hit the road to travel, especially with a passenger, the PCX is not an option for you. All right, so go for a bigger scooter. Its purpose is urban use. Can you take it on the road? Of course you can, right? You can hit the road even on a bicycle. For heaven's sake, you can even travel to Latin America on a Pop 110. However, it wasn't made for that. So to answer you, I think that ends up being a negative point. If someone is looking for a scooter to hit the road, okay, there are other bigger scooters, even from Honda. And another thing I saw on the internet, guys, is the issue of the fairings, which are expensive. Maintenance in general, you can plan ahead for at the dealership. In general, the most expensive maintenance is the belt. When you need to replace it, take a look at the manual. It will tell you at how many kilometers. You can check at the dealership well before buying and already know the cost of maintenance and labor. Now, if you fall, it seems that the fairing is quite expensive. So take a look before buying or use a protector to avoid this problem. And the last negative point, but not least, I think is the price. The scooter is expensive. The PCX, for some years now, the same 150 version has been expensive. So in my opinion, a motorcycle that doesn't even have ABS on the rear wheel is a bit overpriced. I want your opinion. What do you think of the PCX price? Share in the comments. Before wrapping up and discussing prices, let's review the differences between the PCX versions. Starting with the cheapest one, the combined braking system version, which looks really nice in black, is available with a suggested retail price starting at 16,230 Rs. What doesn't it have? What does it come with? It has a drum brake at the rear, doesn't have traction control, and comes with combined braking system, combined brakes. In other words, it doesn't come with ABS. Brakes and other features, for example, suspension, height, are the same as the Deluxe and ABS versions. What's the difference between the two versions? Just design and colors. The ABS version comes with everything I mentioned: traction control, disc brakes on both wheels, and ABS. And it's available with a suggested price starting at 17,850 Rs. And the Deluxe version, which I presented here in the video, is available starting at 18,270 Rs. Now I'll answer the big question. Which do I prefer, PCX or NMAX? Did the PCX finally beat the NMAX? I can say that both are very close. That's good for us, the consumers, because whichever one you choose, you'll be taking a great scooter home. The new NMAX 160 Connected is featured in a video on the Motoplay channel. Go check it out. Afterwards, there's the full presentation and also the test with the pros and cons. Well, to sum it up, the NMAX comes with ABS brakes on both wheels and also connectivity on the dashboard. Also, you can switch the dashboard buttons on the handlebar. Anyway, it has a different look. As for the PCX, it has the most powerful engine in the category. It also has ABS only on the front wheel, and it has idling stop. Both have traction control. Both of them do. The PCX also wins when it comes to the alarm, which only it has. The person will need to consider their priorities and, of course, the price. Already at the dealership with shipping insurance, and everything else included. In my opinion, both are great scooters. I don't really have a preference for either one, you know. In fact, I have a scooter of another model, but that's it. The good thing is that you can decide which option is best for you. But if you think the PCX 160 is the best in its category, better than the NMAX, write the hashtag PCX 160. It can be together or with your comment, because I want to know your opinion. So that's it. If you enjoyed the video, please like and share it. I'm sure they'll enjoy getting to know the new PCX 160 and, of course, hearing about the pros and cons. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because there's a new video every week. There are also videos about other scooters. We even have videos here about the NMAX 160, including an introduction and a full review. All right, subscribe and share the video. See you next time. Motorcycle Kiss.